Hello, good morning, good afternoon. My name's Callum. Today we're going to be discussing whether social media can change our behaviour in person as a human. Can it change the way we behave because of what it is doing? Let's find out. So before we look at social media, we need to take a look at the timelines and we need to figure out what it was that launched social media and how it became a thing. So we actually took a look at 6 Degrees. Now 6 Degrees was officially the first social media of its type. It allowed others to interact with others, find friends, etc, etc. Now that was launched in 1997. Social media site that popped up a couple of years later was Am I Hot or Not? Now this is the equivalent of today's Tinder. That was actually launched in 2002. Now after that came MySpace, which was obviously renowned. I don't remember a time in my youth where we didn't have MySpace. It was obviously great for music. You could change your theme, so on and so forth. And of course, all of these sites came before we were aware, because it was so new, such a new thing. We weren't aware of any of the detrimental effects that it may have on a young person's mental health, or even the way that it may go in the future. You accelerate. Fast forward to around about 2006, YouTube actually partnered up with other partners and associates in order to start gaining that traction that they already had. 2006 was also the launch of Twitter. The guy that invented it, Jack, he actually sold his first tweet recently in a form of a certificate, which actually allowed someone to own the rights to his first ever tweet. So we're going to try and gather some evidence, and today we're going to be looking at trying to answer the question, does social media change our behaviour? And we're going to be taking a look at metrics, facts and references that we found. Facts and statistics, we're going to be asking the general public, and we're going to try and answer the question, does social media change our behaviour? Okay, so today we're out here at Leicester City. And we're going to be talking to the general public about what they think about social media and whether it affects our behaviour or not. So I've managed to grab hold of Joe. Joe, nice to meet you. What do you think the way that social media affects you?
Well, personally, I find it's useful in the way, like, if you want to contact someone, or like, it's just easy just to pick up the phone, which, you know, in times past.
So ease of access.
Ease of access, spot on there.
And do you feel that social media has negative implications in today's day and age?
Yeah, well, thinking about women, like models, unrealistic body standards that are promoted by social media is a negative aspect.
Do you think you could live without social media?
Personally, I could, but I know there are people that, you know, do rely on it a little bit too much.
Okay.
Arguably.
And do you know the difference between the three realities? So virtual reality, augmented reality and mixed reality?
I don't, but I would like to know.
Do you think that social media has changed the way we behave with others?
Yeah, there's less interaction between person on person. It's over the phone quite often these days.
And do you think that's accelerated by the pandemic?
Yeah, and the fact that we can't meet people has increased our need for social media. Yeah, hit me up.
See, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
So how do you use social media at the moment?
I try not to because it's exams, so they've been banished to the back of my phone.
Okay, so they're not top of your agenda, social media you believe you could live without?
Probably not Snapchat, no.
Why is your Snapchat your favourite?
Yeah. I talk to like my close friends on it mostly, so.
Would you say that social media has changed your behaviour personally?
Not now, maybe in the past, potentially.
And how would you say that
my
affected you?
views. Just more self-conscious, I guess.
Okay, so is that to do with, you know, sort of peer pressure, Instagram, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, like the typical, like how beauty standards are portrayed and like the typical life. But I think now, since I've grown up, I've consciously tried to follow things that are beneficial for me instead of just aesthetically pleasing.
And would you say that they were detrimental to your health when it was it affected
Not
you?
necessarily detrimental, but not good. I think it's better now than it was.
So what we found talking to the general public, as you may have seen, especially with Izzy herself, she says that she's not using social media because of the pandemic, because she has uni work, because she has coursework due in, which in my eyes shows a change of behaviour, because if she wasn't doing her coursework, then ultimately she would be on social media. Maybe that feels like it affects her grades or her ability to concentrate. Either or, she is making changes because of social media, moving away from that. A common reoccurrence upon our investigation with the general public is they found aesthetics. So they would say places like Instagram would make you feel inadequate, because obviously people are only posting the most beneficial stuff of their lives. So, you know, nice cars, they look good, they've got a full face of makeup, and as previously stated, you know, that can be pressure for a young woman or a young man. So what we did find during our studies is we found that over 5% of children said that they were social media addicted. The reason that they may feel addicted is because of that small feeling of gratitude. It doesn't last very long, but hey, I've checked my Instagram, there's a like, I feel content. It makes you feel loved and wanted, and ultimately gives you a sense of belonging and needing. We can't base our self-worth on something that's largely out of our control. Now, that statement actually came from a University of Cambridge student who was also looking into the negative implications of social media aspects, etc. Now, 2021, social media is in full swing. We have Snapchat, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Microsoft Teams, we have even just Zoom, allowing us to collaborate with our workmates, people at work, a lot of people working from home because of the pandemic, and stuff like Zoom, Facebook definitely brings us all together in sense of we're allowed to communicate a lot more, even though we're having less interaction. Does that change our behaviour? Well, if we're not communicating in person because we're doing it over our phone, that is changing our behaviour, because usually way back when, we might have gone and knocked on someone's door. Hey, are you coming out to play? Now, we'd ring them up. Are you free? Can you come out to play? Again, we ask the question, can social media change our behaviour? And I think the answer is well and truly, it can.